Hello. In this episode, we'll go over how to join Kaggle competition. But once you learn some machine learning algorithms, it's a good idea to brush up your skills by participating in Kaggle competition. It's very simple. So a good way to start it is here, this Titanic example, which is about predicting the using machine learning to predict the Titanic survivors. So let's go to this website. I will open up here. Before you start this competition, I think I have a fresh website here open up. So what you will see here is that you need to sign in, but to sign in, you actually do, well, if you can click it, you don't have an account, so you need to sign up for it. So please do sign up for an account. You can either click here to register and then register with your email, and it will ask you all those questions to sign up. So that's what you need to do first. Okay. So I recommend starting Kaggle with this Alexis Cook's Titanic tutorial. It is about, it's the formal website of the competition website for the Titanic machine learning from disaster. Okay, and there's an introductory video that you can watch. But let's go to the tutorial. So the first part is that, well, if you click here to join competition, if you click this, then it will go to this competition website. So I recommend opening up both windows here, the tutorial and the official website. Okay. So, and click the join competition button if you haven't already. That will, so I think I already joined the competition, so it changes the summit predictions. But before doing that, let me show you here. It is the join competition button, isn't it? So if you click the join competition, then again, you'll have to have sign up and all this, but so you should just do this kind of things. Let me just, okay. Anyway, so after you sign up for Kaggle and join the competition, so what does this do? It has some characteristics like gender and all this kind of things, and then try to use those information to predict who survived in the Titanic tragedy. So, and the data is, and if you go to the data tab, so in the official website, here's a data tab, isn't it? You can look at the data. Of course, you can download it. If you just click download, it will download, well, gender submission. You have 3 files, gender submission, test, and train. So you can download all of these. Okay. So if you click the data, there's 3 files, train CSV, test CSV, and gender submission CSV. I downloaded all 3 of them and have it here. The train CSV file is the one that you use to train a model. And here's the passenger ID, and whether it survived or not, 0 if died, perished, and 1 if survived, the class, name, gender, age, sibling, all this kind of things. So those are the training data. And the test data, it basically doesn't have the survives, which you're supposed to predict. And the passenger ID is important because this is the serial number that the Kaggle competition will keep track, whether the passenger number 892 and your prediction is whether it survived or not. So eventually your answer will be, like here, gender submission, passenger ID, the same thing as the test data, and then whether it survived or not. So, so you should fill out your own here instead of what's given here. Okay. Okay, so this is about the train data, test data, and gender submission, or sample answer sheet, I guess, that you can submit. Okay. This Kaggle actually does provide its own Python editor, the machine learning editor. If you click the code here and have a new notebook, click the new notebook, then you can have your own. So I guess the name here is not friendly, so you can have just Kaggle and change the name, okay? And the first one in this competition is already given. It's basically a code to download the files. So here, this is, it's like our Google Colab or Cell in a Jupyter Notebook style. So if you actually click on it, it will upload the files so that you can read it in data frame or somewhere, isn't it? So here's the notebook and Cell and all that, and it runs. Once it successfully runs, it's still running, but you will see that the files are loaded, meaning these kind of messages will show up, okay? Let's see, it's done. And then if you want to have more, just like Google Colab, this is if you want to have another cell that is for Python code or a markdown, like a text and all that, isn't it? So we'll have a code here. Okay, and the usual thing we usually do, like with Panda data frame, check the data. We can copy this line for sample here. This tutorial is very kind and shows you what to do. So for example, train CSV, read it in this train data frame, and then look at the header. Let's execute it. It does show how the data looks like, isn't it? Let's create another code. We can do the same thing with the test data, isn't it? Oops. Copy it and run it. It shows how the test data looks like. And you can see that in the train data, there's a survive column, and in the test data, there isn't, because that's your job to do, predict, isn't it? All right. Okay. And so now let's get to make some guesses. First, the gender submission file, I think the ones that's provided here, let's see, show in folder, has here all the, actually, what this does is that it assumes all the female passengers survived and made a prediction like that. Is that actually true? Let's see. Did all the female passengers in Titanic survived? So let's have the train data, sex is female and survived among all the women. Actually not true, but well, pretty good. 74% of the female passengers actually survived. How about the male passengers? Only 18.8% of the male passengers survived. So I guess gender is a good predictor of who survives or not, isn't it? Okay, so now actually do some prediction. So here I will just copy here for the sake of just doing and creating a prediction. This is using random forest classifier. It's a tree-based classifier. But here it's the purpose is just to learn how to do Kaggle. So let's just assume we know it. And but it basically used the test train data to train a random forest, and then use the test data to make a prediction. Okay. So your submission was successfully saved. So once you get that message, so save, okay. And then click on the save button. Make sure the save and run all is there before the save button. So what do you mean by that? Okay, here, save a version, isn't it? So we click here. Okay. So let's see. Here is what we run, and it was successfully done. Okay, and here's the save version, save and run all commit. Okay, so this is done here, and you do save. So it is running, so it's training the model and all this, and once it's done, it will save it, isn't it? So let's do what we should do next while it's running. So this generates a window bottom left corner that it's doing a click on the number of the right of the save version button. This pulls up a list of versions on the right screen. Click on the ellipsis to the rightmost version and open in a viewer. And click onto the output tab right on the screen and click the submit button. Okay, so what does that mean? So it's still running. I think it will run a little bit more. Now it's done, isn't it? So now it's done. Here's the saved version and here's the number, isn't it? It shows the versions. Okay, and here is the version. Open in viewer. Okay, and submit to competition. So you can actually check what you did, what was just done, and all the prediction. Once it's done, you want to submit to competition. Kaggle tutorial version and submission CSV. You can just change all those names. Description version 1. Submitting, submit. Okay, it's done. You participated in a Kaggle competition. So here's a view my submission. So that's my submission page. So it shows that what I predicted and all the file and all that. Jump to your leaderboard position. It will go on the other people's submission, 7,678th place with the accuracy of 77.511%. Okay. Well, of course, you can use different machine learning routines to improve your score, but this shows how to participate in a Kaggle competition. Thank you for watching this episode.